Are you ready to enter your winter arc era? It is that time of year. We have almost only 75 days until the end of 2024, and if you want to utilize the remaining 75 days in order to level up and be the best version of yourself by the time 2025 comes around, stick around because I'm about to run through 11 life-changing habits that you can implement the remaining 75 days of 2024 to be the best version of you by 2025. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel if you're new here. In today's video, I'm going to run through 11 life-changing habits that you can implement starting today, starting tomorrow, in order to hit the ground running by the time New Year's comes around. How are we going to do that, you ask? Is 75 well? Welcome to day one of 75 well. What is 75 well? It is essentially the practice of 11 daily habits for 75 days straight. However, you might be thinking, Steph, that sounds like 75 hard. It sounds like 75 soft. Yes. I took the inspiration from that, but I've created a new challenge called 75 well, which is health and wellness focused rather than health and fitness focused. It encapsulates everything from emotional regulation to nervous system regulation to mental health to nutrition and physical health as well. Now, the main reason you probably clicked on this video is to know what these 11 daily habits are. The first habit that we have is sleep. One crucial part of your health and well-being is to have good sleep hygiene. Sleep and how much you need, it is like a dress size. There's no one size fits all. Everyone needs a different amount of sleep. Typically, they recommend for you to have 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. So the first habit in 75 well is to make sure that you are getting somewhere between 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Now, in order to do that, that requires you having a consistent sleep schedule. Your sleep schedule shouldn't fluctuate more than about an hour either side. So for example, one thing that you want to do is to choose 1 hour sleep window that you always try to go to bed every night and a 1 hour wake window that you always try to wake up from. That allows you some flexibility throughout the week, and obviously not everything is perfect, but it is something to focus on and try to do. The next habit that we have is exercising. Unlike 75 Hard Health and Fitness Challenge, which I'm not capable of doing that, and specifically the World Health Organization actually recommends that you should get anywhere from 150 to 180 minutes of moderate activity a week. That's right, I'm saying a week. They also say that in going up to around 300 minutes of exercise, moderate exercise a week, or alternatively, you can do 75 to 150 minutes of vigorous exercise a week. Now, you might be thinking that's actually significantly lower than, for example, 75 Hard, or significantly lower than what society makes us think we have to do in order to be elite, but that's why we don't need to be working out 7 days a week. In terms of doing a 75 well challenge, you can split this throughout the week, or you can decide to break it down and do smaller, more achievable doses of exercise, activity, not just exercise, every day. The next habit that we have is implementing some form of outdoor movement. This doesn't need to be vigorous exercise. It doesn't even need to be moderate exercise, but even doing some form of low intensity walk can be so beneficial for you. It doesn't matter if you're parking a little bit further away from the shops and you're walking in to the shop rather than parking right outside the door, making sure that you get yourself outside. There is so much research behind the benefits of green spaces and nature, and just being outside combined with doing some form of low intensity movement can be incredible for your health and well-being. The next habit that I have, it is to choose something that can help you reset and regulate your nervous system. Now, all of these habits actually have been shown to regulate your nervous system, but we're talking specifically specific. So for example, journaling, breath work, meditation, mindfulness, some form of activity that is a little bit outside your comfort zone. It could be yoga. It could even be a cold exposure. I'm also just adding in here a screenshot that you can pause of different ways you can regulate your nervous system. If you don't want to implement these 11 habits, you can choose any of these, and it is literally scientifically proven to help you pull you out of fight or flight and regulate your nervous system. Now, the next daily habit that is so crucial, it is to drink water. To drink about 2 to 3 liters of water a day, but obviously it depends on your biological sex and the amount of activity that you're doing throughout the day as well. But choosing roughly anywhere between like 2 to 3 liters of water a day is so beneficial for your health and well-being. The next habit that we have is taking your vitamins, supplements. There are a number of different vitamins and supplements, and actually quite an overwhelming array of options for you to choose from. This is also your encouragement to go to your GP, get your blood work done, even go see a naturopath and figure out what your body needs specifically. In terms of implementing a habit, making sure that you're taking that consistently. So for example, if your doctor and your blood work has said, hun, you're low in iron, I think you'd probably be a whole new person by 2025 if you took your iron every single day for the next 75 days. Finally, we're up to a habit that literally everyone always says. It is so important for you to have some form of nutritional habit, or even to break a bad habit in your daily routine. Whether you choose to go dairy-free for 75 days leading up to 2025, go gluten-free, eat an extra piece of fruit a day, make sure you have another serving of veggies a day, or not having a late night snack like this girl here. Whatever it is that you choose to do, if you do it consistently, if you make it a habit that you actually implement, by 2025, she doesn't even need to be a New Year's resolution because it will be done. 75 days, it will be automatic. You will no longer have that issue of not eating the piece of fruit or of binging at nighttime. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 8th habit out of the 11 is to have some form of no screen rest a day. We're talking no Netflix, no scrolling on TikTok, no scrolling on Instagram, no unfortunately watching YouTube videos. Mine don't count, obviously. Try to choose one form of rest that does not involve a screen or devices. This could be reading, that is my personal choice, journaling, painting, drawing, sketching, playing chess, crocheting. There are so many different things, and you can choose the amount of time that you want to do this habit for. It could be for 2 minutes, it could be for 30 seconds if you want, or it could be for half an hour, it could be a certain amount of pages you read. Implementing something like that, like some form of true relaxation where you're not being stimulated, where you're not being exposed to blue light, which is then going to impact your sleep hygiene. Watch this space. The next habit we have is cleaning, but essentially having a habit that mitigates something that triggers a strong emotion, not in avoidance way, but doing something for your mind. If cleaning helps you, or if clutter stresses you out, doing some form of cleaning or something that you know will reduce your overall anxiety. For example, choosing 10 minutes, 30 minutes a day of cleaning, or cleaning a specific area. So the second last habit is connection. This is an important one. Have a habit to check in on someone once a day. It doesn't matter who it is. It could be a simple act of kindness with a stranger. It could be calling your grandparents. It could be engaging mindfully with no distractions and no phones with your children. Helping a work colleague, checking in on someone if you think they're upset. If you know someone's going through a tough time, just reach out to someone once a day. Do something kind for someone once a day, because not only does it help you feel fulfilled, but it also obviously has a significant impact on those around us. The final habit out of the 11 is to limit your alcohol. I'm not going to say no alcohol because that is just not achievable for some people. Obviously, if you don't drink already, literally good on you. I love that for you. If you do drink and you're wanting to completely cut it out, 100% love it. If you're like me, I have way too many social occasions that I refuse to not have a beverage at to lubricate me socially. So I am just choosing to limit my alcohol to only social occasions. So we're talking weddings and events, not a random little like dinner here, let me just have a glass of wine. Not that. I have to know about it before 75 well starts. Whatever you do now, limit it just slightly. Even if it's have 1 drink a day instead of 2, it doesn't matter, but just remember all of these are about getting 1% better every day. Here's the thing not many people tell you. How can you implement 11 daily habits for 75 days? But we are actually going to focus today on the habit loop cue routine reward. This is what the cue routine reward habit loop looks like. Essentially, it is saying that with any habit, you can choose one of these 11 habits. If you figure out a way to make a cue obvious, so to remind you to do the habit, do the actual habit once you've been reminded of it, and then you have something that makes doing that action rewarding, it will eventually fall into a very autonomous loop where it happens very naturally. James Clear does a great example of breaking down what you need to do to either form a habit or break a bad habit in each of these phases. So for example, with a cue, he says, make the cue obvious. And if you're wanting to break a bad habit, make the cue or the reminder to do it invisible. For example, if you want to not have late night snacks, don't have what you would snack on in the house. Or if you want to drink more water, have a water bottle at your desk. Every time you see it, take a sip. Now, there are a number of different ways that you can cue a habit, that you can remind yourself to do a habit. That can include anything from visual cues, auditory cues, routine cues, time-based cues, and environmental cues. Visual cues could be what we said before, seeing a water bottle and having a sip every time you see it. An auditory clue could be cue, not clue, could be a $7 alarm clock from Kmart. A routine cue could be, as part of your morning routine, you flow through one habit after another and your new habits that you're doing are a part of that routine. And that also sort of is similar to habit stacking. So for example, if you want to take your supplements or your vitamins in the morning and you always have a coffee in the mornings, take your vitamins at the same time. Although don't do what I do and take iron with caffeine. It literally makes it like pointless to even take. A time-based cue could be doing something before you go to bed, for example. I really want to particularly break down routine. Now, this isn't routine in the sense of the habit loop, cue, routine, reward, because routine practically just means habit. What I want to do is just really focus for a second here on routine. We mentioned that a potential cue is a routine or habit stacking. There is a lot on social media about night or evening routines and morning routines. I personally feel like your whole day can be a routine. Throughout a day, I time block routines. I have a morning routine, a work day routine, so that's like 9 a.m. What do I do between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m? Then we have an evening routine. I refer to evening routines as like the post 5 p.m, post 3 p.m. if you're at school routine through to before you go to bed. And then your night routine is a nighttime ritual to help you fall asleep at night. Like, I decided to create 3 different potential daily routines that you could have in order to implement these 11 habits. Routine option 1 is an even split. You could have your morning routine include a workout, a walk, and some form of emotional regulation or nervous system regulation. You could have your evening routine include cleaning and calling a friend, connecting with someone. You could then have your night routine include taking your vitamins and supplements, reading or whatever your no screen rest is, and obviously going to bed at your bedtime window so you can get good sleep. And then obviously there's a few other habits that don't really fall into that. For example, drinking water. You're not really going to be using a routine cue because you're not going to drink 2 liters in one go. Dieting, again, unless it is something that, for example, like no late night snacking, I could probably incorporate somehow into my evening routine. But if you want to be dairy free, that is a whole day thing. It requires using other cues and rewards, and same with limiting your alcohol as well. But for example, I broke having a drink every day by replacing when I would have a drink with something else. Taking away the cue had no alcohol, I would then do a different action and that would be rewarding in itself. So I was able to break that really bad habit. Thank God. Thank you, James Clear, for that. This is my favorite part, reward. This is a crucial element in the habit loop. You've got 11 habits that you are wanting to do. You figured out how you're going to implement them into your day, how you're going to cue them through routine and habit stacking, but how are you going to make sure you do that the next day? You might be able to, for 75 days, cue that habit and do it, but how are you going to make it a reward and then make it an automatic habit if it's something you want to carry through into 2025? I've got the answer for you guys. I've specifically selected out a few different ways that you can reward yourself. There are a lot more mentioned in all of those books that I've mentioned already. However, these are the 4 that I think are particularly relevant. We have the habit stacking reward. Maybe you have to do something and then have a coffee. For example, I have to work out and then have my coffee. Like, it is a reward after I finish a workout class, go get my coffee. The next one is habit tracking. This is so crucial. It allows you to feel a sense of achievement. Habit tracking is perfect. I personally have created a diary that allows me to either tick off the week and the day or tick off every single habit of every single day. I use Notion for this. I have created a digital journal version of that too, just depending on what I felt like. I started off with that, moved to Notion because I could use it on the go. Having that reward of ticking something off, that internal satisfaction, is so important and such a good form to reward yourself. The next way you can reward yourself is to have some form of social reward or accountability to sort of kick your butt into shape if you haven't done that. That is sort of what I'm doing by posting this online. I'm going to be filming throughout my 75 well journey, and I hope, probably not going to happen because it would be too good to be true, but I would freaking love if someone did this with me. If you do want to do that, subscribe and join along, and I can be your social accountability partner as well. But I also do have my fiance doing 75 well with me as well. So that would be really good for both of us to sort of hold each other accountable, celebrate with each other, find someone online, find a group, find a community. Finally, the final reward is it is so important to have some form of intrinsic reward. So something where you feel a sense of achievement. I do think ticking off a habit tracker can be that, but I also think that like reflecting and really if you have negative self-talk, journaling is the key. So I have created a way that I can reflect, and if you guys want to use it too, that you can reflect on how it has made you feel throughout the day and just really feel that sense of achievement every day that you tick off these habits. This brings me to how can you do 75 well? You can obviously do it by writing on a piece of paper. You can do it by sticking up the 75 post-it notes on your wall like I have seen all over TikTok. If you would like, you could create your own tracker, or you could go get mine, which I have available on Etsy. Or when I first did 75 well, I decided I needed a way to track this. I needed a way to plan it. And if you don't know, I have a digital journal store on Etsy. So if I can't find something I want, I'll create it myself. And with 75 well, obviously it's not 75 hard, it's not 75 soft, so I had to create my own. Went a little bit overboard. It went from a habit tracker through to the ability to plan, and then it became a full-on diary where you can record everything you did in your progress every single day throughout it. You can create your routines through it. We also have a 75 well check-in. There are a range of different questions prompt you to reflect on the habits that you have done today, whether it's how much water you've had, what you've had to eat today, and it even has the ability to track your energy throughout the day. I can measure that and see throughout the 75 days whether I'm starting to regulate my nervous system. So I will have that available on my Etsy store. It will be linked down below. I have given you guys the highest amount discount code that I can give on Etsy, and that is 75% off. So if you do want to get 75% off on that, the code is 75 well. I feel like that was super applicable anyway. I'm just going to pop in here. I don't know how I didn't mention this. I really want to just take a moment and tell you that implementing and learning to do 11 new daily habits is literally so hard. I just want to validate that for a second. I just want to share that when I do 75 well, I have a goal of hitting 80% every single day because it is near impossible that I can be perfect. Literally 100% would be maybe already the best version of myself. And maybe if you're doing lesser habits, you could do that. So one of the things with doing more habits means it is going to be harder. So it is going to be a balance between doing 11 habits or choosing 3 out of what I recommended, and also choosing whether you're okay with hitting 80%, whether you need to do 100% every single day. But I do just want to remind you that it is totally okay if you don't fall asleep at the time you set. Like, so if I was to give up one day after not checking off having 7 to 9 hours sleep, that would feel like I was a failure. And it's not about that, because it's about you getting 1% better every day. So if you're doing 80% better every day, that is a good job. Don't put pressure on yourself to tick off 11 habits. Just choose what you want to do, what you're okay with, in order to slowly progress to being the best version of yourself. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, comment down below, you know, all that kind of stuff. I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you, double heart. Thank you. Thank you. See you later.